welcome to another episode of Beer for Breakfast ABV. I am Danielle from The Moke Show on 91X. I've got my beer drinking partner in crime with me, Paul Seguro from Karl Strauss.
Yes.
And today we're featuring Latchkey Brewing. I've got Matt, I've got Anthony, and I've got Gerald, all co-founders as well as the head brewer, Anthony, right here from Latchkey Brewing. How's
Welcome,
it going,
guys.
Good. How are you
Thank
guys
you.
doing?
Good to see you.
Welcome.
Cheers.
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 Yeah.
Clink.
Good to have you guys on the show.
Thanks
for having us.
So we did not just do one pre-funk, we did a double pre-funk
The
today.
double funk.
Well, you guys brought so much great beer, I couldn't pick just one. So our first pre-funk was with the, where is it? Yes, the May the Juice Be With You.
Hazy double IPA, 8%. Very nice beer.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
It was good. I'm like, and I'm not just like saying this because I want to be nice to you guys because I'm like not the nicest person in the world. I don't like hazies, but I would drink that hazy all day, every day. It didn't give me a tummy ache. It didn't give that shocky feeling that I sometimes get. It was just like very juicy, delicious IPA. So,
Thank you.
well done.
And I liked it
Super
because
fresh.
it was amazingly dry for double IPA for an 8%. And it was very hop forward, very nice, very actually clean. And by clean, I mean the absence of flaws, not like the absence
see
of
what you mean.
fruit and flavors and stuff.
Nice.
You were also saying like a very, for the body of most hazies, some of them are very thick sometimes and a little bit heavy,
Yeah.
kind of drier on
So it's
it.
amazing
It-
you
it
guys
made us
use
happy.
London 3 yeast in that. London 3 leaves a lot of body and a lot of residual sugar that kind of, makes the beer kind of sweet. And that was dry and hoppy, which was amazing.
Yeah, we were surprised on that. It came from like, we were speaking a little bit. We got that yeast, shout out to Modern Times and Morgan over there. She actually gave us a little bit of
Morgan.
yeast. Craft beer industry always sharing with each other and being nice. She gave us a little bit of recommendation because of course that's kind of their house yeast as to how they treat it. And her main thing was like, over aerate it to what you think. So what we did is we just over aerated a bit. We weren't planning on harvesting a subsequent generation, so we kind of knocked it up, and I think that's probably what has to do with a good attenuation. Nice.
Isn't it
dryness
rad
on
that that she not only like gave you guys a bunch of yeast, but also said,
Here's how to
here's a
use
couple,
it."
yeah.
Dude, she's
mean,
such a wealth of knowledge. Like, I'll be hanging out with Morgan, and she'll start talking her yeast knowledge, and I just sit there and I'm like, yeah, totally. I 100% agree. I don't know why anyone would think anything other. Like, totally.
That whole scene epitomizes San Diego beer right there.
Right.
Doesn't it?
That's great.
And
pretty rad.
this beer right here, the Monk Abides, what is this?
Dude.
Yeah. So this beer is, although you can't call it a Trappist beer because that's the monk's thing, we call it a Trappist-inspired Dubel, our Belgian Dubel. And the way we did this beer is we didn't use any kind of candy syrup or any kind of sugar to get the dryness, which is a simple kind of test I wanted to do because most Belgian beers, you get kind of the raisin prunes, typically from that D2, D1, D3 candy syrup you use. This one was all malt only. So any of the phenolics you get is, of course, from the yeast, but any other character that's not the clove, the bubble gum, the Band-Aid, anything that's plum or raisin comes from Wireman Cara Bohemian and a little bit of Simpson's chocolate. So instead of using kind of the syrup to mimic and give you those flavors, I tried to get it out of the malt, and I think we did a pretty good job at it.
I get some chocolate cocoa notes, and I get toast and sort of biscuit.
Definitely.
And then that's all kind of followed by that little bit of phenolic and black pepper flavor.
Yes.
Maybe I've gone overboard with the descriptors, but
I think
I'm
description
into
is
this.
Spot on.
No,
That's a great
Please
one.
keep describing.
Yeah, please keep on talking.
I'm just flowing.
Just keep going.
Tell me more.
Keep going.
well, and,
Gerald's getting turned on over here. He's like, come on. Some
Never
more.
pulled that out.
It's really good. Man.
Yeah.
I'm into the spirit. It's really
and Paul, it's for something for us is we love Belgian beer, but it's a thing where it's not a very sexy style California or even the States as much. It's not as popular as IPAs and barrel-aged sour this and decadent dessert stout that.
It's not what's hot, but
Yeah, it's something that I feel like, similar to lagers, simple lagers, people who make beer and really, really love to drink it are simplifying nowadays. So to me, someone who's been in the industry for a couple of years and knows a little bit about a little bit, I find myself gravitating to these simple styles that are typically underrepresented. And because they're underrepresented, people don't practice enough with them.
Yeah.
So our swing at this, again, was to try to create a beer that was dry. The most important thing to us was dryness, followed by the flavors you kind of described. And then we kind of, I don't want to say we nailed it, but we got close. I'm kind of keep
What's the
changing
motive
it.
behind wanting everything dry? Is that to make it sort of more approachable to anybody? Like, pedestrian sort of, just anybody who walks in off the street could taste this and go, yeah, I dig it. And they don't have to be like beer people, beer nerds like all of us. They could just be anybody.
I'll tell you, actually, our porter that we're actually probably not tasting today, but we might after, same thing, right? Where I've been saying it's kind of a life-changing porter for people, because when anybody walks into our bar and they go, I know what I don't want. I don't want the porter because I hate porters. They're too heavy. I don't like them. Immediately, I turn around, get them a 4-ounce station, and I go, try that.
I dig it.
And I would say more times than not, they go, actually, give me a pint of that. I love that. Why? Because it's dry and approachable, not the heavy, vanilla-y notes. But that
approachable is a great word. It's a great word.
Yeah.
And I salute you guys for wanting to bring more people into the fold in this craft beer world of ours, right? That's
Totally.
Well, there's still a lot of converts.
To touch on the Dubel, we were involved with the Bankers Hill Arts and Food Festival last Friday.
Oh yeah.
And we featured the Monk Abides, and people were just
Digging it.
Oh, we
getting
blew
back in
through
line for
2
it.
kegs
Yeah.
of this.
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah.
It's really good.
Well, you know what's right about this beer too is not only people who aren't initiated into craft beer will dig it, but people like us can drink it and go, "Wow, I get toast and hints of coffee and chocolate and all this other stuff." Yeah. So it appeals to those people like us, and to people who are sort of newbies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and to pivot over to our next beer, you guys are here because you're celebrating your 1-year anniversary. We're coming up on that in a week. Very, very exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
April
Yes.
13th. And you had said that when you guys opened, you only opened with 2 beers.
Yes.
And this was one of them?
A ballsy move, but we did. It was a little unfortunate. We lost the beer early on along the way. So as a San Diego brewery, we launched with a lager and a porter. Kind of crazy.
Totally makes sense to me in a hop town like this.
It's really helpful, though.
Yeah.
It helps people order. You want the light one? You want the dark one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No
Well,
explanation
so-
needed.
Here's to that IPA that you
Cheers.
guys lost,
Yes.
and nice rebound on that, by the way.
Thank
you guys
you.
ended up,
nice.
well respected,
clean.
in a good place.
Sure.
So this is the SD 1915 unfiltered lager coming in at
Yes.
4.6%. What can you tell me about this beer?
You'll get nice notes of brown rice in there. Think about the steam coming off a rice cooker when you're drinking that, and you'll actually pick up that note in there. One big thing for us is this is 13 weeks in tanks. It was about 2.5 weeks of lagering and about 9
No,
or
it's
10 weeks.
the other way. So it's roughly about 2 weeks of fermentation, and this beer was about 8 weeks of lagering time.
Sorry, that's what I meant.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was about 98 days.
You're right about the brown rice thing, man. I fully get that. Yeah, I mean, in a major way.
Yeah,
What's that flavor? I mean,
it's a very simple grain bill. It's literally it's mainly Weyermann Pilsner malt, about 10 to 15% of Briess brown rice, like Matt was saying, and then it's about 5% white wheat, because I love white wheat for head retention in basically every beer. So it's very simple again. About 2 weeks of fermentation until everything cleaned up and we were able to drop temp and harvest, and then 6 to 8 weeks is usually our lager time, as far as just sitting at 34 degrees, just hanging out and clarifying.
And for anybody that doesn't know, what would that be in comparison to just a West Coast IPA? How much?
Oh, sure.
What's the difference?
See, that's a great question too, Danielle, because the people out there who aren't in the industry and don't get to do this and know, lagers seem like they're very vanilla and very basic, which they are, and that's what makes them beautiful. But they take usually 2 to 4 to 6 times as long as that beautiful hazy hoppy beer you had, or that ale. So even though this beer is when you look at it, very straw colored, light, not a lot goes in, but the time and tank space it pulls is what makes you be able to appreciate this beer.
So this is a little bit. This takes more time, more effort to make a nice, clear lager than, let's say, a hazy IPA.
Oh yeah. So we could have made 4 of "May the Juice Be With You's" in the amount of time it took to make this one batch
So
of
my next
Any
question.
I was gonna say you can't hide anything either.
Right.
Yes.
Well,
There's
so
nothing.
Yeah.
you guys are saying
True.
this is unfiltered, and as just someone who doesn't know a lot about beer, this looks super clear. So
To be honest, none of our beers are filtered.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
All right, so just like a rudimentary, filtering versus unfiltering when it comes to beers. What's the difference?
So typically, and this is something that I like to have fun with because I've talked a lot to people and done a lot of mind exercise.
You mind effing people?
I try to. Usually I just mind F myself.
Ah.
But so my school of thought is filtration came about as a means to make beer last longer on the shelf, as a means to be able to produce more beer. A lot of people who are big fans of filtration will say it makes your beer better and more shelf stable. I can see that in a way, but my opinion, if depending on the type of filtration you're doing, you might actually filter out a lot of things that are beneficial in beer. A lot of aromatic and flavor compounds. So for us, we don't filter traditionally. We rely on time, temperature, and all we use, if we're going to use a fining agent, we use biofine.
Okay.
So this beer was biofined. It wasn't filtered. It didn't go through anything that spun it or any pads or anything. All we did was let this beer ferment. As soon as it got to chill temp, we pulled our yeast off of it, threw some biofine, let that settle out, and then it just lagered for its 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So, but it's a very difficult thing for breweries our size can pull it off.
Yeah.
Bigger production breweries can't tie up tanks for that long, so
Well,
it becomes very difficult.
What does Strauss do when it comes, when it comes to lagers, having beers in for that long, the filters, the unfiltering?
Well, we now have a centrifuge, which is nice, but he's right about all the time it takes for lagers, and people drink with their eyes as well, right?
Yeah.
So you sing a beer like this for people who are macro beer drinkers who come to your place. This
Easy.
they're going to get their right. Danielle likes to say the best measure of a brewer, like when you go into a new brewery, order a Pilsner or something really light. If you want to see how good they are as brewers or what their game is like, order a Pilsner or a beer like this, the lighter beers, and there's nothing to hide. When you drink a good, clean, crystal clear beer like this, that these people have game.
Sure.
And then you're willing to move on to the next one because you've now have confidence in their skills. It's rad to see more and more breweries making beers like this.
I couldn't
Really
stop
well
drinking
done.
as you see I drink all of mine. I was like, well, it's like I took every sip and I was like, I want another sip. I want another sip. But while we're talking about your anniversary, what's going on? What are you throwing a big bash? What's happening?
Yeah, we're throwing a big bash April 13th. We're gonna have food coming in, games. We have a anniversary Keep the Pint. It's a fun little glass. It's gonna be like a glass version of the Red Solo Cup.
Yeah, that's super
Pretty killer.
rad.
Okay, so how are you going to do that? What's like a glass version of a red Solo?
Grandstand. Thank you,
We found the
Grandstand.
design.
They actually, it looks just like the Red
No
Solo
kidding.
Cup, but yeah,
Wow.
it's pretty cool.
Rad.
We're working on a special anniversary T-shirt as well, and it's just going to be a good day. We're going to have a special anniversary beer that we're releasing. We're not saying which beer it is yet, so come down on the 13th and check it out.
Is this a specially ticketed event?
It is not a ticketed event. Our first year, we decided that we didn't want to do that. We wanted to just invite everybody to come down.
We're all crashing.
Check it out.
Heck yeah,
Please
we
do.
are.
Better.
If you were here a year ago, the big thing that I'm most proud of, aside from the beer, we've done, I think we were saying earlier, 33 unique recipes in our first year. Actually, by the time we release our next beer, it'll be 33. We've also tripled our space. So when we moved in, it was a very moderately sized tap room.
And for anyone that doesn't know where you're located, where are you located?
We're in the Mission Brewery Plaza, which is at the corner of West Washington and Hancock in the Mission Brewery Plaza building.
It's like when you're driving on the 5 and you think that's Mission Brewery, but it's not.
Exactly.
Latchkey used to be a long time ago.
Exactly. Look at the airport when you're on the 5, and you'll see a big brick building. That's where we are.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, we pretty much tripled our size in our tap room. So it was a nice small tap room with a nice bar, and then we extended our patio, which pretty much doubled our size. So we have a nice beer garden outside, and then just recently we opened a big event space in the back. We got a big barn door there that we can close it on our slower days during the week, open it up for events and for our bigger days on the weekends, etc. So we can do about 3 to 4 times as many people in the space now, and we're super excited.
And I have to tell you, as someone who had been to that facility when it was what it was before, you guys have put so much work into it and have made it so comfortable and just so beautiful just to hang out in. It doesn't feel like this just like big empty room. anymore. It actually feels like a tasting room.
Thank
And
you.
I recently saw a video that was done for you guys. I want to say it was done by the SD Beer Dudes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mike did that. Yep.
Yes,
Mike
he
Dion.
captured what your guys' tasting room is so well. So for some bizarre reason you haven't been there yet, go check it out. There's a little parking garage underneath. However, make sure you get your car out in time because they will lock it in.
Exactly.
Been there, done that.
We can get you
It's a lot
out.
of
We can
fun.
totally
We'll get you out though.
We'll get you out.
So that brick building there is an historic building, right?
There's a killer story behind it. If
Yeah.
we have time, I can
Yeah.
tell you the story behind it. It's
Let's-
pretty quick.
Okay.
So the original brewery there was it was under two different names, which are two names that exist today but have nothing to do with what the breweries were. The first one was America's Bay City Brewing, which is ABC. They called it ABC Brewing.
Yes.
And that, by the time they opened, the father of the person that owned ABC Brewing also owned a place called San Diego Brewing Company, which was
Okay.
downtown. And then there was by the time they opened, they actually changed their name to Mission Brewery. For some reason, I actually don't know the reason behind it, but there was a reason they had to change their name. So by the time they opened in 1912 or 1915, it was Mission Brewery, and then Prohibition shut them down. And then after that, it was just a derelict building for a while, which became a a seafood or a seaweed packing plant. It became an airplane part factory during the war, and then it was a influenza sanatorium for a while, and then it
Oh
sat
my
empty for about
gosh.
30 years.
So that building has seen so many
It has
different
seen a
things.
lot, yeah.
Wow.
And then in the 90s, the building was built by the same company that owns it today, and it was who was it? It was Clint.
Yeah,
That's-
Clint Stromberg.
Yeah, Clint
and
Stromberg
Rob-
actually came
Rob
in
from
and
Premier.
built the modern day brewery that's in there.
Yeah.
It's not so modern anymore, but it's a cool little brew space.
Do you guys brew on
It was
that?
in 1996. Same system. After that, it was 5 Points Brewing. Who was it? New English, Coronado, Acoustic Ales, and now we're in there.
Wow, there's a lot
I
of
think
history
La Jolla
in that
Brewing
building.
Company beers were coming out of there at one point as
Yep.
well.
Oh,
I
yeah.
legitimately
Little
thought
contract
because if you've never been to this building, there's like kind of like a little plaza area in the middle, and you can see through these glass windows the giant tanks. I thought that it was just there for show, just like
Yeah.
decoration. I didn't know you guys brew on that
Yeah,
thing.
that is our
Oh,
system.
yeah, that's
Oh
That-
wow!
I've seen that's a tough brewery to brew on.
It is.
Hats off to you guys for having the heart and the passion to make great beers in that brewery.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
It's tough. I mean, it's any brewer who's gone through there, and there's probably some watching,
Sure.
can speak to that. It's
Yeah.
it's a tough space.
It's a little Frankenstein at this point because of all the breweries that have gone through there. Originally, it was a direct fire system, and then at some point along the way, somebody put a steam calandria in there. So it went from a 20 barrel system to 17, 18 barrel system.
right. The
at this
displacement.
point,
Yeah.
with displacement. But we were talking to was it Ryan the other day?
Oh, yeah,
At
from
Coronado, and
Coronado.
Oh, Ryan Brooks.
he was saying like Mermaid was made there, Mermaid Red, and he was just like, oh my
wow.
God. He's like, that system made a totally different beer. He's like, it is a very unique system.
I honestly,
Nicely, it's unique.
I legitimately thought that was just there for just like kind of like show, be like, oh,
Yeah.
like once upon a time, beer
Yeah.
was made on this system.
Yeah, no, it's a Model T.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So to finish it out, we are finishing out with the Hatch, your guys' West Coast IPA, coming in at 7%. I mean, I've been sipping on this as you were telling that story because I can't not sip on a West Coast IPA, and I love it.
You do.
I love it a lot.
So this is our core IPA that we have out there. It was designed to serve our tasting room, but also to be able to have a little bit broader distribution as well. So you'll be seeing this one around town a bit.
Nice.
Are there Nelson Sauvins in this?
You know what? Good question. I was the hops in this are actually about 65% Strata,
Strata. All right. New
Strata,
variety, yeah.
Citra, and Simcoe Cryo.
Wow.
But
no
it
kidding.
weirdly kind of mimics a little Nelson, right?
It does. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
that smells like Nelson. It's got that sort of white varietal thing going on.
Wait, hold on.
Oh no.
Rewind real
Oh
quick.
no. Oh
No,
no.
actually, I just gave
Oh,
you the, I
no.
just gave you the last two hops of the May the Juice Be With You.
Yes.
This
Oh, there's no
actually,
crap.
so this
Gerald's
actually,
sitting over there like, "You're wrong,
this
man,
is
you're
Strata,
wrong."
still 65%. It's about 20% Eureka and about 15% Idaho 7.
That's right.
So I think the Eureka is kind of the Eureka paired with the
You're still
Strata.
getting
I
it
think
wrong.
is what's kind of making the Nelson.
I'm wrong.
Oh no, I was the wrong one in giving the hot profile. Like
Jared
Matt,
and I are sitting over here, but like, I don't know
that's-
what you guys are talking about.
Tasting Idaho 7.
I don't get that,
I'm
but
tasting big Eureka.
Rye malt in the any rye in the malt bill?
Good call. Actually,
So I got something right.
just a little bit too. So hey,
I
that's
guess you are
that's
a
the
brewmaster.
I want to say on this, there's probably about 5% rye. So
Okay.
for you to pull that out, that's pretty high
great.
level, Paul.
West Coast IPA.
We have
Yeah,
a
yeah.
hazy version that's coming out this week as well, which is called All Right, All Right, All Right, which is our hazy ride.
Very nice.
IPA.
Yeah, and that one's more of a rye hazy where it's
Hey
like
now.
15%.
That's exciting. Well, how fun. Well, Matt, Anthony, Gerald, thank you guys so much for coming
Thanks for having
by
us.
Beer for Breakfast.
Congrats on
Cheers.
1 year.
Yes, congrats
thank
on
you.
1 year. That's very
And
exciting.
much continued success to you guys.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
And come on down, come check us out on the 13th. It's going to be a fun day.
Everybody.
And we're going to be celebrating us, but we'll be
Yeah.
celebrating you as well.
Mark your calendars. Remember, this is not a ticketed event. So you can just go swing by. I know we're all busy, but stop by. It's right there off of the 5 in Washington. You legitimately cannot miss Latchkey Brewing. And remember, every Friday morning, Paul comes on, 91X comes on the Moke Show and tells you as well as us what we should be drinking. And
That's right.
it's going to be Latchkey Brewing. Sorry, spoiler alert, it's going to be Latchkey. So thank you so much for watching Beer for Breakfast ABV. I am Danielle from The Moke Show, and cheers to independent craft beer.
Cheers.
Cheers. Dog friendly.
Yeah!
Boom.
91X.